Let's create a file. We want to change the size to the correct settings, 1280 by 720. And we want to change the frame rate to 12 frames per second. Autosave every 10 minutes. And this time, let's make the background a sky blue color. That's a good one. Okay. And fit that in the window. Save this as 11 tutorial. With your initials. This tutorial will cover how to share library items. So we want to open the library items FLA. In the library items FLA, you'll see that there are things in the library already. These are all preset things in the library. To share library items, you need to have two libraries open. So here's the new library panel icon that is up at the upper right-hand corner of the library window. It looks like two overlapping blue squares. Click on that and then come to the name of the library at the top of the library panel. There it is. And what you want to do is you want to copy both these folders. So select and drag them across. And now that you've done that, you can just go ahead and close this. You don't need to save it. But you do need, close the extra library window, you do need to save this because you've made a change. You want to create layers. You want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. The bottom one is going to be the background. And then you've got a cliff. This layer is going to be guides. This layer will be rotate. And the top layer will be ease. Command save. If you select frame 24 on the top layer, come down to the bottom layer and hold down Shift and click. It selects a line all the way down the timeline. If you press F5, you will create a range of frames on each layer. So let's Command S to save that. Select the background layer keyframe. Place the ground library item at the bottom of the stage. So scenery, ground, down near the bottom, and use the align panel. Align it to the stage, and you want to align the left edge and the bottom. Command save that. Okay. Now I want to lock that so it doesn't move, and I'm going to go to the cliff layer. I'm going to select that first keyframe, and I'm going to pull in the cliff. And I'm also going to use align to align the left edge and the bottom to the stage. And save that. So now you have a place where something can happen. I'm going to lock that. And let's lock all the layers by clicking on the lock and unlock the ease layer. Come up here and click on it so ease is blue. This is the current layer. When it's blue, it's the current layer. If you have a layer selected that is locked, it just won't let you do anything. So make sure you're on your unlocked layer. You want to go to frame 1 and you want to get your anvil. So in the props, you'll find Anvil at the top. And you want to drag the anvil somewhere to the just above the edge of the cliff. So right there, that's a good place to put it. Right-click on frame 12 and create Motion Tween. On frame 12, hold down Shift to constrain the motion, but drag it all the way down to the ground. Select frame 24, hold down Shift, and drag it all the way back to the place you got it from. Command S, Command Return, and now it bounces, but it looks very mechanical. It doesn't have any sense that this is really happening because it's not changing speed at all. It's going at the same rate. You want to add keyframes on your motion editor so you can change the scale and do a little stretch and squash, and then we're going to add some easing. Select frame 12 on the layer and then select the Motion Editor tab. Now since I've got my fit in window set for my scale, I'm going to be able to see everything I'm doing. Let's drag this so that you can see the whole Motion Editor. Make sure you have enough frames showing. It looks good. And you can see the basic motion. The X remains constant because it's not moving left or right. The Y, however, changes. And since it's going down, once again I told you that the numbers on the ruler start at 0 at the top, and as you move down they go up. So the graph shows that the number starts at 0, or starts near to 0, and then it goes up. And then it goes back to 0 or near 0 again. So even though it seems kind of silly, but even though it's moving down, the graph shows that the numbers are going up, because when you move down, the numbers go up for Y. And that's hard to remember, but that's the way it is. Now we want to go to the scale. We want to go to the scale for X and Y both, and we want to add keyframes. So I'm going to put Command click to put keyframes. And I want to put keyframes at specific places. I want keyframe on 12 for scale of X and Y. I want a keyframe on 11 for X and Y, and I want a keyframe on 13 for X and Y. And then I want to make sure I have a keyframe on the last frame for X and Y. Now, making sure that the playhead is on the correct frame. We want to go to frame 11, and we want to select the keyframe for scale X. Make sure that the link, the chain link, is broken, because you don't want to constrain the scale of X and Y. You want to change them independently, so you have to have the keychain broken. On frame 11, you want X to have a number of 80%, and you want Y to have a number of 120%. Okay? Now you want to go to frame 12. Click on the keyframe. On X, you want to have a scale for frame 12 of 120%. And then for Y, you want to have a scale of 80%. Now you want to go to the next frame, which is 13, and for the scale for X, you want to have a scale of 80% for X and 120% for Y. And so you should have a graph that is this shape. Now go to the last frame and check to make sure that both X and Y are 100% for the last frame. Okay? And now let's go back to the timeline. Command S, and let's press return, and you can see that it stretches and squashes. With the ease layer selected in the timeline, you want to go to the Properties tab, and in Properties you want to go to the ease, and you want to set the ease to -100, so you pull all the way to the far left, and that's an ease in. So one way to remember this is ease in towards the stage. Ease out is out towards the outside. And now, if you play that, it starts out slower and speeds up. Okay, so Command S, lock ease, and let's go to rotate. Unlock rotate. On the rotate layer, on frame 1, get to the library and drag in your coconut to down near the left-hand bottom corner. And in fact, I think I'll just line it up there. Right-click on frame 24, and now you want to select Motion Tween. In Properties, so select the tween layer itself. Set the rotation, so Properties, Rotation, and you want it to rotate once plus 180 degrees. You want to go in a clockwise direction, and then use Align to align to stage and align it to the right. Okay, now Command S, Command Return, and you see that it rolls nicely across the stage. Okay, Command S, make sure that's saved. Let's lock the rotate layer and go to the guides layer, make sure it's blue. Unlock guides and click on the first keyframe. Drag your safe to the upper middle. And in fact, use Align and align it to the upper middle, horizontal center of the stage. Now, right-click on frame 24 and create Motion Tween. Drag the safe to the bottom of the stage. And Command S and Command Return to see that. And there's just falling. Now, you can also edit the path using the selection arrow. So if you take your selection arrow and you come close to the path, as you get closer, suddenly you can see there's a little curved line that appears. I'll make this a little bit bigger here. So as you come closer, you can see the curved line appears. Poof. Now, if you click and pull out, you can curve the path. You can curve it up or down, but you can curve it, see? So it makes it a little bit more interesting. And now let's Command S and Command Return, and you can see it follows that curve. Now, if you click on the guides layer and you go to the properties, when you get down to the rotation, you can see that you can orient to path. So the path rotation will orient to the path. So it's Command S, and then it's Command Return for that. And see, now it orients to the path. Makes it a much more interesting animation. So there's lots of things you can do. So I'm going to Command S and say that's the end of that one. Okay.